Is this a moment we will look back on? Will this change things? Is this sort of the spark that will change American healthcare, even if it's just how health insurance companies operate, which by necessity will change how the big healthcare systems operate? I mean, are we going to look back in 5 years, or do you think it's just...
Not from this.
I really hope that it does have that, because it'll save other people's lives, a lot of people's lives. You hate that you needed an act of violence to draw attention to something. But the truth of it is, we are built like that. We are drawn that way. And, let me ask you this question. Because I'm not saying, and I know we're supposed to disclaim and say, we don't support any kind of violence and political violence or any kind of violence to make your point. I get that. But when you do it collectively, when a country says we have an issue, for example, with the spread of communism, looking back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s, most average Americans didn't give it much thought in their daily life, but you had a government that said, that's a threat, it's not good for us, we're going to go ahead and we're going to send hundreds of thousands of troops, including your children, to go kill people because we think this cause is important enough to warrant murder, death, and even if it means innocence. Now, what happened here was the same thing, but on a smaller scale. Instead of a nation deciding to go to war on something, you had an individual who looked at something and said, this is messed up, this is very bad, it's bad for a lot of people, I think it's worth going to war for. And he strapped it on himself, he enlisted himself, didn't enlist somebody else to do it.
Right.
And he went out and he took an action, whether you agree that it was the right one or the wrong one. But why are people quick to want to jump on and say that this is an irrational or a mentally ill act when we don't say that when a country does it?
Because
I think it is
to be irrational and
because it is a crazy act.
But why? Then war is crazy. War is the exact same thing on a bigger level.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But why does it seem like, now me, I'm against all of it, so I'm consistent. Sounds like you are too. But a lot of people out there, if it's done in the name of war, you don't even think twice about it. You follow it blindly. But when an individual declares a war and takes action on it, that's not allowed.
Because it's one